Allora abbiamo un altro grande ospite questa sera per queste interviste di Mystery Tour, un personaggio storico con il quale abbiamo già avuto a che fare, una leggenda vivente, Mr. Brian James. Hey Brian, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing real good, my friends. I'm good. Yeah. It's all happening. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. Damned if I do. What can you tell us about this album?
Well, what it is, it's basically sort of like 35, 36 years on, going back to that first Damned album that I recorded many years ago with the Damned, and redoing the tracks a bit. Well, not all of them. Some are from the second album, the Music for Pleasure album, and that always suffered from terrible production. The guy who produced it didn't know. There was the drummer out of the Pink Floyd, and he didn't know what he was doing. Yeah, and so I wanted to kind of like sort of do a couple of numbers from that, and a few kind of favourites for the first album. I think the thing is, it was my manager's idea.
Yeah.
I'm blaming it on him. He came up with the idea. I've been playing, I still am, doing gigs with Rat, the original drummer from the Damned, going out doing the first Damned album, playing it, and having a lot of fun playing them songs again, because I ain't played them for many years. And my drummer said, my manager said, look, you're playing these songs, you're having fun doing it. Why don't you get together with like some guys like that you play with, like with the Brian James gang and stuff like that, some friends, and bang down a few in the studio. And if they come out good, we'll put out their album, you know. And I thought, yeah, why not? Well, it's in my mind to do it, you know. And obviously, it would have been crazy to invite Rat in to do it as well, because he played many, many years ago doing them. So I wanted to give it a kind of fresh approach and let the songs stand up for themselves, rather than it being like more than one Damned member playing them, you know. And I wrote them anyway, so I figured I had the right to do what I want with them. And they come out good. I don't know if you got a copy there?
Yeah.
Good.
The guys from the record label sent me, and
good.
It's amazing. It's amazing because it sounds so fresh, and I like the like the digipack, you know, the look of the graphic project, because it reminds like an LP.
Yes, yeah. I'm glad you think that, because that was the whole idea. I mean, if it had come out sounding like a real kind of like, I don't know, a poor man's version of the Damned album, which has become quite an iconic album, then I wouldn't have put it out. It would have been crazy. But they come out, and I've been playing Born to Kill with the Brian James gang with a piano player, and I always wanted to record that, you know. And I did an acoustic album last year called Chateau Brian, and on that I played with a keyboard player who doubled on what do you call them things, like a squeeze box, you know, like an accordion. And I wanted to treat, like, Feel the Pain, the tender one from the first album, in a real tender way, and give it a bit more, I don't know, kind of a Parisian feel, like a French feel, you know.
Yeah, and what about the Brian James gang? Is there something?
We're halfway through a new album as we speak, you know, about 3/4 of the way through, really, yeah. Yeah, it's all coming together great. Because I was bursting after doing the acoustic album, which is the first time I've done like a whole acoustic album. I was really bursting to make a lot of noise again, you know. And I'm certainly succeeding with the damn thing. I succeeded to a point, but now I'm succeeding in spades with the new Brian James gang album. It's guitars coming from every direction. Yeah.
Definitely. And I've seen there is like a new issue of a Lords of the New Church, like a box set. Is it a box?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Easy Action put it out. It's like sort of rarities and stuff like that. Yeah. They've done a good job, you know. There's things there that people wouldn't have heard before. I think it's nice to sort of like to keep the Lord's name alive, you know. Because a lot of people didn't. There's a whole bunch of new people now, you know, kids today, you know, they don't know nothing about the Lord, so it's nice to sort of put it out there so they've got a chance, you know, to check it out.
Yeah, definitely, because with my band, the Mugshots, I mean, I find that the Lords of the New Church are a huge, huge influence. Yet they are very underrated. How was being in the Lords of the New Church back then?
Oh, it's fantastic. It was great. It was an experience. Every night was different. Steve was such a fun guy to work with. I mean, apart from being a great singer, performer, and songer, wordsmith, he was just an incredible, like, sort of funny guy. He just keep you in stitches all the time, and you never knew what he was going to do from show to show. I mean, what's he going to get up to? I don't know. You had no idea where it was going to go. You get up there, you had a list of songs, and you just jumped in at the deep end and had a lot of fun. So it was a rock and roll band. It was a rock and roll band, but we tried to sort of like stretch it out and play in various styles a bit. And keep it interesting as much for ourselves as anybody else. And people seem to dig it. They seem to like it a lot, Yeah. So that's cool.
A few years ago, I kind of remember some kind of reunion stuff.
Yeah,
with
we
another
tried
Steve
it.
On vocals. Steve.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. We tried it. It didn't work. Basically.
No, okay.
There was a lot of inattention in the band. The guy that was doing the vocals, he kind of started off interesting because he came up with a whole bunch of lyrics, very much in the Stiv vein, but interesting, But then it come to a lot of personal. He didn't get on with Dave Tragana, the bass player, who was with the original Lords, and he wasn't sort of like, when it come to doing the shows. He didn't seem to cut it properly. Okay. So it was like, hey, we recorded an album, but it was like, nah, we ain't going to release this. We're going to leave it and leave the Lord's name intact. It'd be crazy. I've been talking, and I did a gig not long ago with a guy called Adam Begvar, who's American from Chicago, and he is a bit more. He's a huge, huge Lord's fan. And he wants to do a Lords of the New Church. So at some point in the future, I don't know when, there is a chance that maybe something will happen then. But at the moment, nothing's happening. No. I've got too much on my plate. What we're playing with Rat and the new Brian James Gang, and I want to do some acoustic gigs and a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. What about Tanz der Youth?
Tanz der Youth, yeah. Well, it's funny you should say that because Carlton, Easy Action, he's come across a bunch of like sort of live tracks from Tanz der Youth. I mean, you've got to remember, we only put out one single, Tanz der Youth. Yeah, and we did like a John Peel session, so that's available and stuff. And really, I mean, we did a handful of gigs. We did some gigs with Black Sabbath, and then they chucked us off the tour. Oh. They didn't want us no more because they didn't think we were suitable for a Sabbath audience. Yeah. And we gave a big break for what do you call them band? Van Halen. The first time Van Halen played in Europe was when we got kicked off the Black Sabbath tour, and they brought them over to replace us. So we give them their first break, and they should be eternally grateful, them guys. Yeah. So what we're thinking at the moment is just doing like a very limited edition because it's people. I get people asking me about Tanz der Youth, because it was a very quick band. It just didn't last that long. I kind of got itchy. It wasn't rock and roll. I was trying to rebel against the punk thing because it had become so samey. And it was an experiment that worked for 5 minutes, and then I didn't want to continue it, But the songs that Carlton's come across, and they sound pretty good, for sort of very basically bootleg tracks, that were recorded. So I think he's going to stick out like a limited edition of like maybe 500 albums or something like that of it,
Collector's item.
Yeah, man. Yeah. See.
How was like playing with Iggy Pop?
Iggy was fantastic. Yeah. You've got to remember, Iggy was my favourite singer. Yeah. And then I get the guy phone me up and, yeah, you want to come play with me? It was like, whoa, Yeah, so it was cool. It was cool. Plus, Glenn Matlock from the Sex Pistols, who was playing bass, so I had like a friend in the band already, and it was. I mean, the rehearsals were cool. I mean, we played through the whole backlog of Stooges stuff, right, to pick which tracks was going to sort of like sound best live for the band, and I mean, just doing that, you know, that was amazing. It was like a dream come true, playing all those favourite songs with the guy who did them originally, you know. And then we did a tour for about 2.5, 3 months around America and Canada and stuff, and we backtracked. I mean, it was such a popular tour. We got from one end of the States to the other, and it was like, right, well, you got all these gigs, they want you to go back. So we went back and did after the gigs again, you know. It was something else. It really was. It was good. Yeah.
Yeah. And looking back, what do you think is the most important lesson from punk rock, British punk rock, for younger generations?
I think the most important thing is not to worry about your technical ability too much, but if you've got feeling and you've got attitude, get together with some people and get up on that stage and play, no matter what happens. Just do it. Even if you're making mistakes, it don't matter, because everybody learns by their mistakes. I still am learning by mistakes, and I've been in the business like 30-odd years, you know, and I'm sure the same goes for you, Mickey, you know. As part of the essence of rock and roll is the mistakes. That's what makes us different from machines and techno music and all that kind of stuff, right? It's that human element, you know. So if you've got the urge to do it, if you want to write a song, doesn't matter how crappy people. Someone say to you, you sound like shit, man. It don't matter. So fuck you. At least I'm the one that's been up there playing it, man. I've been on the stage doing it. Well, you've been standing down there just drinking beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know, get up there and do it, and don't take nobody else's word for nothing. Just believe in yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And now, what's the most immediate plan for Brian James?
The most immediate plan is to cook a duck and some potatoes and vegetables. With a nice bottle of wine, a nice Italian bottle of wine, by the way.
That's one hell of a plan.
Yeah, and then I'm going to go in the studio tomorrow and do some recording and stuff like that. And we've got some gigs coming up in France, me and Rat, and just carry on doing what I enjoy doing, which is basically eating, drinking, loving, and playing music. You know.
A mystery man, be a doll like a baby doll. Come to come no anyway, can't be found no way at all. Just a man can't see his pride, gotta hold his destiny long. Be a form on accident, get a feeling, then I call. Can't afford the cannon, can't afford the gun at all. Can't afford the cannon, ain't the money in the car. No crime, it ain't no law. No cops left to mess you around. No more dreams and mystery calls. No more sight to bring me down. Got a creaky, got a part of my mind. Mama's home with the falls asleep. Feeling fine in a restless time. Get upon me as usual scream. Can't afford the candle. Can't afford the good at all. Can't afford the candle. You ain't the money in the car. Be a man, you're a mystery man. I'll be a doll, like a baby doll. You come from not anywhere. No can't be found well. Just a man can't sympathize. Gonna hold his destiny, Lord. Get a thumb on that stage. Get a feeling, then we call. Can't afford the cannon. You can't afford the gun at all. You can't afford the cannon. You ain't the gun in the call. You can't afford the cannon. You can't afford the gun at all. full of material.